And we'll have more of your images of how you captured the Lights Out event later on in the programme.
Well, the senseless loss of life during the Great War is seared into the consciousness of the British people. At the outbreak of war, men joined up in their thousands. Many went off to fight in what became known as PALS regiments.
Yes, the Birmingham PALS were drawn from the managerial classes. Among the recruits were two brothers. When one heard that the other had been killed, he scoured the front line looking for his battlefield grave. And Mark Goff takes up the story.
In just 1 week in 1914, more than 4,000 men from just one city signed up to go off to war. They became known as the Birmingham PALS. This is their story. And it's also the story of how two brothers went off to fight, how one never came back, and about how his heartbroken sibling found his battlefield grave. September 1914, and in Birmingham, thousands decide to enlist. The PALS battalions were formed because it was felt that men would be more willing to join up if they could serve alongside people they already knew. But rather than being drawn from the working class, the Birmingham PALS were the middle class, the ex-grammar school boys, the bank clerks, the managers. The recruiting station was what was then the new extension to the city's museum and art gallery. It had just been built. Marching proudly that day were brothers Alan and William Furze.
They lived at School Road, Moseley, and they both joined the 1st Birmingham Battalion. In the ranks, they joined as privates. Alan, the younger brother of the two, he was commissioned actually into the 1st Birmingham Battalion. He became a 2nd lieutenant first. Yet his brother, William, became an officer in the Tyneside Scottish, which is part of the Northumberland Fusiliers Regiment.
The brothers went off to war, but on the first day of the Somme, William was killed.
The main waves had gone over the top, took a hold of the German front line, and he was walking over later in the morning with his men, trench mortars, across no man's land, and he was shot. And he died of his wounds there in the battlefield. And his men buried him in a battlefield grave. As usual, the War Office would have notified William's parents that he'd died. And they then sent a telegram to Alan, who was in the 1st Birmingham Battalion, saying, "Your brother's been killed."
Alan wrote back, "My dearest mother and father, what an awful shock to get your telegram this morning and to know that poor old Bill has died for his country. I have been rather worried about him for a day or two now, not having heard. Thus goes the finest pal I have ever had." And then he made an extraordinary decision. He went to find where his brother had been buried on the battlefield.
With the trench map details, he went and found the battlefield grave, and he replaced the marker that was there with a proper wooden cross, and he took a photograph and sent back to his mother to say, "This is William's grave."
This is the photograph. He wrote again to his mother, "I found the grave marked with a rough cross. I took over with me a nice oak cross about 4 foot high, and I placed this on the grave with a cross of white stones." William was finally reburied in a military cemetery. Alan survived the war, but caught trench fever, and eventually all his teeth fell out. Some of the brothers' belongings are on loan to Birmingham Museum. Alan went on to become one of the most senior special constables in Birmingham and was awarded the MBE, one of just thousands of Birmingham pals who never forgot his finest pal, his brother.
One of so many extraordinary stories.
Incredible,
stories.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Very moving. The time is coming up to 19 minutes past 6. You're watching ITV News Central. Still to come on the programme. Bob catches up with Birmingham-born Jasper Carrott before his big new tour.
And the forecast for the Midlands is action-packed. We've got lots of rain on the way. Find out where and when in a few minutes' time.
Now, the search is on to find a lottery winner from Shropshire who could literally be sitting on £1 million prize without realising it.
A mystery ticket holder matched all 6 numbers in June. The National Lottery is now urging people to check their pockets, sofas and cars for a small piece of paper that could literally be worth a fortune. Rajiv Popat reports.
It's the first week of August. Surely that's not Santa. Oh yes it is. He was in Telford this morning looking for someone who bought a lottery ticket on June the 28th. They have until Christmas Day to claim their prize of just over £1 million.
My advice to all players in the Shropshire area is to check your tickets wherever they might be. If you can't find your ticket, look down the back of the sofa, check your glove box, look perhaps in an old drawer where you maybe keep them, and make sure that you check that, see if you're a winner, and if you are, please give us a call.
Last year, just over £110 million went to lottery-funded projects like the Montgomery Canal and Ironbridge Gorge in Shropshire because winners didn't come forward within 180 days of the draw date. However, most prizes are claimed. It's easy to lose or forget you've bought a ticket. In some cases, they're found just in the nick of time.
One we had was a syndicate who actually left their ticket in a pot of pens and they completely forgot about it, and they only came forward about 3 months after the draw, after somebody needed a pen and took all the pens out that weren't working and found a ticket at the bottom.
Do you remember what you were doing on June the 28th, the lottery draw in question? The second round of the World Cup was underway. Brazil took on Chile while Uruguay were up against Colombia. Well, the lucky numbers are 8, 12, 28, 30, 43 and 49.
Now, if you got these numbers, then this lovely cheque will be coming to you by Christmas. You have until Christmas to claim it. Bye-bye, everybody, and a Merry Christmas to you all. Ho, ho, ho!
Yo ho ho, it's the first time we've seen Father Christmas this year.
Well, he's keen, if nothing else.
Yeah. Just a quick reminder of those numbers, if you didn't manage to get them. They are 8, 12, 28, 30, 43 and 49. And good luck.
Sadly, we were out at the 8, weren't we? But never mind, good luck if it's yours.
Now, the national and international news is just a few moments away, so let's see what's coming up tonight.